Welcome to another episode of the You Still Up show. It's your boy Gamer Ass Gamer, and today Lux is not here. And I wish I could blame it on him, but it's because of me. I overslept. You know, uh, we were supposed to record, and I was like, so um, we didn't. But while trying to figure out how to recover from that fatal error, I was like, what might be a good idea? If we just recorded two separate uh, episodes of us talking about shit we want to talk about and then put it together as one episode. I thought that would be like a really smart, interesting, creative thing to do at this point in the show where no one's watching, so we can just do whatever we want, you know? And I thought, let's try it, It's better than trying to, figure out when we can record again, because I really don't think we can, because you know, you know, he ain't got a whole lot of idle time. He got sleep time and work time, so it ain't really a whole lot of recording time to go down for him. So I was like, you know what? Let's just try to record it as if we didn't. I didn't oversleep. You know, so that's what we're gonna do. This is gonna be my part of the show, and then he's recording his part, and hopefully we can mush it together and make it something interesting, like Outcast did. That's what I'm thinking. Call this part of it, gamer ass gamer speaker box, and call his shit Lux below. There's some bullshit. So, hey, look, man, no one's watching the show at this point, so we could just fuck around. I think, and we can see how this works out, and then if it sounds good, maybe we'll try it again. So anyway, that was my idea. So we'll see. Let's go ahead and start off with what I wanted to talk about today. I was looking through my phone and catching up with all the, New Year's texts and shit. And I was like, I'm missing some people in here, There's some people that were texting me last year that I haven't texted me this year. And it just had me thinking about all the mostly women, right, that left me in 2025. All the people that said, I don't even know why I'm talking to this nigga. Damn. You ever think about that? You ever think about the people that just left you? No explanation, just rolled over into 2026 and decided, I'm good. That's not really something I want to continue with. You didn't get you didn't get a goodbye. You didn't get actually, I think I'm good. You got silence and crickets. She said she wanted to kick it, but all I heard was crickets. You ever think about how dehumanizing that is? To think you meant something and find out with the passing of another year that, no, you didn't. It would be more depressing if it wasn't funny in a way, you know? Because I definitely left some people in 2025, but I'll be damned if I can remember who they were, I remember I was texting this one girl bad. And I think I said, Happy New Year. I don't know. She could be dead for all I know. She could literally be dead. I wouldn't know, But then I was thinking, well, maybe she just had something come up, But we know what it is. We know it, It's me, I was a problem that needed to be eradicated. So, no, it is what it is. it sucks to try to keep shit held together and then find out this isn't your year. Hmm. It also had me think about the fastest amount of time before I got ghosted from meeting someone. And I'm like, this got to be one of the fastest. I didn't send more than 2 texts to this girl. But, I guess that's just how love goes. uh, anyway, this particular girl was really really nice. So I was like, well, maybe she just forgot about me. But the reality is being nice is something that she probably was like, this is probably better if I'm a nice person. That's why I like attitude problems. I like girls that, just put it right there in Front Street. Like, I don't like you. You're going to have to prove it. You're going to have to prove something to me. I like that more because, that's something you can understand. You can understand when she's like, ugh, but you can see it on her face, That means everything you see is going to be real, Little attitude problem ain't nothing. That ain't no problem for me. I love an attitude problem. I love when a girl is just a pain in the ass because usually that's legit. You ain't got to worry about a girl like that ghosting you. She's just going to tell you, I don't like your ass. And that's just going to be it. You ain't got to wonder if, oh, damn, did she see my text? Maybe she just missed it. You don't have to worry. Anyway, the main topic of this show today, well, not the main topic, but something I want to get off my chest is, as I get older, bro, I see a lot of people that fail to be themselves everywhere they go, especially when they're out of the country or they're out of the environment that created them, crafted them, They turn to somebody else. Like, what did Avril Lavigne say? You're somebody else around everyone else. You're watching your back like you can't relax. I see a lot of that, bro. A lot of complicated niggas out here. And I don't understand. I don't understand why you can't just be true to you. Be true to where you came from. Now I've had phases of my life where I'm a little less raw, a little less you know, unfiltered, but I've never pretended. I've never downloaded a personality and decided to use it. There's no way. I see some people moving around like they're not from Mississippi. Like you're not from South Carolina. Like what's going on, bro? Like why are you doing that? Why are you so shifty? I don't like that. I don't like meeting people where I gotta figure out where you came from. That's not cool. Or I gotta look at you and be like, what? What? How did you get here from there? Oh, because you pretended you put on a mask one day. That's how you got here. You decided, you know what? Being me isn't enough. And that's what I don't like. Because it's always enough to be you. That should never be a problem. That should be the easiest thing in the world, man. Yeah, you know, you know, unlocking that part of you is hard. It's hard to unlock that real part of you. But it should always be something you're working towards. I see people out here, bro. You would have thought before they got here they had no personality. Everything they learned was just from here. It's like, come on, bro. That's not. You were somebody before you moved. I see that a lot, actually. That's just despicable. Just be yourself. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is something the matter with me. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. I'm trying. In my head, I'm trying to think about what is Lux gonna mention on his show. The thing about Lux, bro, he got topics that he writes down, but you might not hear them motherfuckers. You might not hear any real topics from him if he just decides, I don't want to. But that's why I brought up getting ghosted, because he's got getting rejected on here. So hopefully he brings that up on his shit. We could just switch it in. But yeah, who knows? Another thing I was thinking about, bro, because it's a lot of, you know, listen, man. It's a lot of girls over here with body types that I'm not a fan of. But that's got nothing, it's not about me. It's not about me. At the same time, it's like, you know what I'm saying? How, I really don't understand how, I'm just going to say it. I don't understand how you could date a girl with no ass. Just to have nothing? It just seems bad to me. It seems wrong. It seems lacking, you know? But that's how I was raised. That's my school. You got to be true to your school, I can't come from a land of big booties, juicy breasts. Get over here and start acting like, no, it's fine. I don't mind. No, no, it's okay. Whatever you got, I'll take it. I can't do that. You know, I gotta be the ass man I was crafted into. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people, spend their whole lives running from ass. It's like, bro, just embrace it. Remember when I was growing up, I used to be deathly afraid of people finding out that I liked ass. I used to be so, bro, I'm telling you, I used to think, man, they find out I'm a pervert. All I do is like big butts. I had this one friend, me and her, we went way back. When we met, when we were friends, at the height of our friendship, she had no ass. Whole time. Nothing. Just back. Baby had back though. And then I think we went out to summer vacation. Then we came back after that one summer vacation. And I was like, oh, I guess I'll go talk to her. I turned the corner and, bro, all I saw was big, juicy brown cheeks running towards me. Like, oh, hey, yeah, I've been eating. What? And my whole world just shifted. What do you mean you've been eating? So now I'm like, kind of just, I'm still in that mode where I'm like, you know what? I gotta still make sure the lie is maintained. I'm not an ass man yet, you know? And then we went out to the school dance. We went to the school dance, and I remember so I was friends with her and her older brother, right? We at the dance, you know what I'm saying, vibing and shit. All of a sudden, Soldier Boy comes on. Back then Soldier Boy was, he was Bad Bunny back then, right? And yo, she starts, as she's standing in front of me, and like in one swift movement, she turned around and throw it on me. When I tell you my body turned to mush, my body turned to mush. And I was sitting there, I remember all I said was, and her brother looking at me like, man, come on, bro. What y'all doing? Stop doing this. what he don't know what's going on is my whole world is breaking down in my mind. And ever since then, ever since just her twerking on me, I was like, I can't deny this anymore. I got to be true to myself. I can't run from this, you know? And, yeah, until, ever since then, I've been an ass man, proud ass man. So yeah, that's my favorite body type is, you know, you built like a cherry. You know, you got the long little stem, then you got them big old maraschinos just sitting right there. You know, that's all I need. You know. Anyway, yeah, he got a topic on here about women being just as horny as men. I don't know what he about to say about that, but you know, that had me thinking about all the times in life where a woman took advantage of me. Have you ever been smutted out by a woman? Like, think about that. Like, think about the first time a woman just took you. I didn't even know that was a thing. You know? I didn't know it was possible to be taken by a woman. Just a super aggressive, super sexual woman just saying, give me that. Remember, I think I was at a school dance, and this girl came up to me and grabbed me. How did she do? It was some Venom shit. She grabbed my crotch from the back, bro. And I was like, uh, this is a level of horny that I don't think women should be doing. This is crazy. And yeah, I think women are horny, but I don't know if they're as horny as us. Because sometimes I feel like dudes, we don't even really we, we don't have that thing in the back of our head that, you know, we gotta uphold. Like sometimes when I'm at work, I think about like, okay, I gotta be professional here. This is a place of business. You know, this is somewhere where, you know, but other than that, I'm a dude. You know, I be staring at girls and shit. I don't think guys are. I think women are horny, yes, but they're not as outwardly. Like with us, we can't even resist sometimes. Yeah, nah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Anyway, let's talk about entertainment. You know, there really wasn't a lot that came out, but you know, ASAP did put his album out, and you know, hold on. The thing about ASAP's album is that it is good. I would say it's got some good tracks on there. But you gotta think this man has been out of the game for a, over 5 years, and the last album he put out was Garbino. This is the dude who had one of the best debut albums ever. So coming from that, it's like, and a lot has gone on in his life. Like he's, you know, a lot of major. This dude almost went to prison. So to have all that happen and then put this out is kind of like for me, you know. But I did like a lot of the songs on there. I thought, if you were an ASAP fan, you know, I think there's a lot to be happy about on that album. I just expected more, you know, and I think he could have easily had done it, but I get the vibe that a lot of these songs have been recorded over a long period of time, and this wasn't like a singular, let me get in the studio and put an album out type thing. You know, it don't seem like that. It seemed like, all right, today I'm in the mood to record this. 3 months from now, I'm in the mood to record this. That kind of thing, you know. Oh, I really want to work with this person. Let me do this, you know. And the thing that stands out to me the most is that he ain't responded to nothing, bro. This man had, you know, run-ins with prison. He has a family. He does talk about his family a little bit, but not to the point where I'm like, I mean, you even had Eminem last album have more family shit on there, you know? He ain't really talking about his family like that. And then the Drake, but I mean, he's obviously dissing Drake, but it don't even feel real, bro. It just feel like some shit you just had to do. Like it don't feel like you put any thought into it. So, I say, it's one of those albums where you listen to it until something new comes out. Then you're gonna forget it ever existed. Which, it's better than nothing, I think it's really something that is really for his fans. It's something that his fans can bop to. And that's good. You know. That's good. I think it's one of those albums where I don't see him making another one. I think that might have been his last album, bro. It felt like this is it for me. I don't have nothing else in the tank. I'm about to go off into the sunset and be a fashion designer, which is cool, Ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. So, yeah. This week was pretty uneventful, bro. I've been watching a lot of CES coverage, just looking at bullshit, A lot of cool technology coming, but how much is that shit gonna be, You got so many, you know, part shortages and shit. What is something wrong with my jaw? No, but you got so many shortages in parts and shit that it's like, how much are these products gonna be worth, you know, compared to how much they're priced as. It might be one of those things where it's pricing wise, you might be getting ripped off for a few years. Also, there's one thing at CES where it was a keyboard and a PC in one. Now, you already know that shit's gonna be overpriced. And then, you know, 5 years from now, it's gonna be normal price. So anyone who buys it now, you get ripped off. You know, I hate that. You know, I hate saying that. You know, I've been trying to catch up on movies and TV shows and shit. And, this this season there's a lot of good stuff, but nothing that I could say like, damn, this is gonna be a must see show. I can't say that. I can't say that at all. You know. Anyway, one thing I really want to talk about is the progression of this show. And that's something that I really want to kind of put out there on Front Street for the last few minutes. Like, I want this to be a lot more than it is. We talked about this last week, but it's one of those things where I don't want to get into the the emotions with the show. You know, I want every episode to be us pushing ourselves forward. Now, there's so many things about this that we're learning for the first time. You know, and I think it's great to do this while no one's watching because that means there's no there's no risk. I don't even know why people eat. I mean, it's nice to see, but again, this show is not monetized. Hold on, my jaw is killing me, bro. What the hell? Hold on. Look, I just got arthritis or some shit. But no, the show just feels like it's got to improve, bro. It's got to improve every week. And I don't know how we gonna do that, but we got to do it. You know. But the great thing is that right now there's no risk. There's literally zero risk to the show. So this is the best time to try all of our shit. You know. I don't even know if this episode gonna come out. This shit, this shit might go. I got a backup episode that might go in its place. Honestly, this shit ain't got no kind of entertainment value, but that's good though. You know, it's good that we're figuring it out now, so that later we can be like, that shit was bad. You know, that's how I look at it. You know. Anyway, next let's talk about games. I can finally talk about games this episode. Shit. This week, this is a great week for gaming. You got 2XKO finally coming out on console. And I can't wait to play that. I mean, I could have played it on PC if I had my PC with me. But now I'm about to run it up. The only thing I'm worried about is how many people are going to be playing it. Because it is looking kind of bad as far as numbers go. But hopefully, enough people are playing it to where you'll be able to find, especially with a console launch, like you're going to find people to play with. But the worst feeling is getting into a fighting game and then like you just watching it get more and more irrelevant. That's the worst feeling. Then you got Arknights coming out. Arknights looks so fire, bro. This game looks like it's gonna be. It just looks like one of those games that it's gonna be a great first impression, and I'm gonna play it for at least 10 hours. Out of all the free to play like gotcha type games, this is one where it's like this appeals to me the most, and it feels the most modern. So hopefully it's good. I need a game other than Fortnite. Fortnite, I'm just about done with Fortnite, bro. I'm about to delete that shit. That shit, I don't know. They dropped the ball, man. This season is ass. So yeah, those should be two great games that come out. Then really the game I'm looking forward to most is High on Life 2. That doesn't come out till a month, but that's gonna be fun. Later this week, you got the developer direct for Forza Horizon 6. And what's the other game? Fable? I think it's Fable. That should be good because we already know Forza Horizon 6 is going to be fire. So, yeah, that's going to be a must watch. Yeah, it's a pretty good week for gaming. Movie wise, there's this documentary coming out about the creation of Disneyland called Disneyland Handcrafted. This shit looks great. It looks like one of those real hard, raw documentaries where it's literally just documented footage. It's like there's no story. We're not trying to, sell you on some shit. We're just trying to show you what happened. Those are my favorite documentaries. So hopefully it's good. All right. I think we're going to end it with 30 minutes. So that, the shit doesn't run too long with us both putting it together. I'm going to end the show with a quote. I found this quote. I don't know why, but I guess like I'm being recommended quotes now. That shit weird, but I'm not complaining. We're going to end it off with a quote by one of the greatest living actors of our time. Once I find it. Quote of the week, right? The longer it takes you to be successful, the harder it'll be for somebody else to take it away from you. I saw that quote and I was like, damn, that is so true, bro. Think about all the bullshit, all the setbacks I've had in life, bro, all the Times where I thought it was gonna be shit. Ended up back at square one. And yeah, it's just like I know now, like however long it takes me, once it gets there, it ain't gonna be no stopping. Ain't gonna be no retiring. You know, by necessity. Cause I'm already old as hell. It ain't gonna be no quitting, bro. I just gotta find the path, you know? Once I get on that path, it's over. Like, the longer it takes you to get there, the harder it's gonna be to stop. You know, you can't, you know, think about someone who started off when they just turned 20. They probably gave up three, four, 5 times, you know, lost all that money, you know? Not every time, but so yeah, you know, it's just yeah, it's also one of those things where it's kind of how you gotta look at it because it hasn't happened yet. But yeah, oh, that's from the Wolverine, you know, Robin Hood, Hugh Jackman. You know, he was old as hell when he blew up. Well, I mean, the thing about him is he was he was a working actor for a long time, you know. But yeah, the longer it takes you to become successful, the harder it'll be for someone to take it away from you. That's facts. And with that, I'm gonna send it over to Lux Life. Hopefully he got some shit worth seeing. Because this wasn't it. All right. Peace.
Damn, we really here. Cheers. All right, let me get into my first topic. All right, so I was going back and forth with someone on our most embarrassing moments. And this story sticks out to me because of the ending. So it was the summer going into my senior year. Now, I went to a tech high school, and you were defined by your shop. Ironically, I was in automotive, and I liked this girl that was in Cosmo shop. Now, by design, our shops were the most popular, basically because the white kids kept having parties. I didn't go to any of these parties. Anyway, we added each other on social media during the summer and would chat on Messenger. And at the time, teenage me was like, oh my God, this is great. Shit's, going somewhere. But in person, when I would see her at school, she was awkward. And I would just pass it off as shy because I wasn't looking for red flags and like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And if you think I have little to say now, my ability to hold a conversation back there was far worse. Even talking about wrestling, bro. I couldn't talk for shit. I don't know. Well, it's like how I told you about my shyness. But yeah, the anxiety was bad. So I don't know how I ended up telling my friend, but I vented because I wanted movement. We talked online. She was weird in real life. What's the deal? So my dumbass friend gave me the bright idea. Oh, bro, you should just write her a letter and tell her how you feel. The next morning, I got off the school bus, right? Which I always saw her in passing because our school buses were kind of next to each other in the morning and then they'd get separated at the end of the day. So I went in for a hug. We hugged each other and I gave her the letter. And then end of the day, I was with the fellas waiting by the buses. I don't know why my dumb ass brought it up again. I told them. I was like, oh yeah, I gave her, you gave her a letter. Only for the following to ensue. Okay, so she came out the doors, right? Guys were all waiting to see what was going to happen. That scene from Get Out where that random nigga's just running by? Imagine it's the girl you like speed walking past you. I swear, her bus was down the line. She made it to that bitch in less than 10 seconds. And that was followed by a roar of laughter by the dudes. And one of the dudes, he just happened to appear there. He wasn't even a part of the friend group. He's just like, oh, damn, because he overheard. He's like, oh, damn, I guess you got your answer. She don't like your ass. I think that's why I still have a hard time showing my interest. I keep that shit in Pandora's box inside of me. I'm like, oh, they keep no. But I mean, I never wrote a letter again. I'll tell you that much. I'd much rather just say it in person and live with the results. That shit was intense. But don't take advice from friends and don't write letters. That's what I learned from that. I mean, also just speaking in person and not making a big spectacle out of it. I hyped it up too much. I think that was my problem. Was one, writing the letter, why the fuck, and then two, making it a bigger deal than just seeing where the hell she was at. And then it was at the end of the day too, like thinking about it now, years later, it was my crush. Like I wasn't even seeing like, how she was feeling or like I thought things were going good, but it was just, us being friendly. It was like I don't even remember if there was a vibe or anything. So yeah, that story really stuck out, but that shit still is probably one of my most embarrassing stories just because of the fact that I had everyone there dying laughing, bro. And that random ass dude, like, I don't even know why he was there. He just appeared out of nowhere. So, that shit was nuts. But yeah, that yeah, that was really something. Let me get into my next. Let me see. Oh, okay. So, on online, I think this was on Threads. I saw this post online of this girl casually bringing up how she reads smut. I mean, probably for attention. But I didn't know what the fuck. I didn't know the term. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, what the fuck is smut? So basically, it's just book porn, right? And when I deep dived into it, I was Googling and trying to see, like, what the fuck is this? It's basically, I mean, it's romance novels, but it's just explicit sex scenes, and a lot of fanfic stories are considered smut. And I knew of fanfic back in the day because I'd be on message boards trying to figure out about wrestling artists, and I just wanted to know about wrestling. And I'm just trying to read up on some wrestling, and I'm seeing Lita getting plowed by Jeff Hardy. I'm like, Jeff wouldn't do that to his brother. I didn't realize it was a story by some hypersexualized fool trying to get a big online circle jerk going. So that threw me off. But the biggest example is 50 Shades of Grey. Do you know how this novel even started? This shit was a Twilight fanfic called Master of the Universe. Just Edward, Raw Dog, and Beller. Just had her in a headlock and all types of shit. And this filthy Brit, E.L. James, she got a bit of backlash from it. She took it off the message boards, and then she started 50shades.com. And then from there, then she kind of just changed the characters and made it what it is today. But yeah, I mean, this shit, the term smut, it goes all the way back to the 1800s. It's a slang word for dirty and provocative and just being filthy, but it relates to sex and books. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting, but it made me realize too that the girls that don't want to be perceived a certain way, like slutty or that they're into sex, they're most likely reading this. And I mean, they probably start off at romance novels and then work their way up to this, unless they find it at a young age. I mean, I found the shit on wrestling message boards, and I was like probably like 10, 11. So it's like I can only imagine, because I don't really think guys are reading smut. I mean, we're looking at porn. we don't need to read it. We're seeing it. So it's like, but that just goes to show you that the girls are really no different than us. They're just getting it a different way. They're getting it visualization instead of having to see a dick on a screen. They're trying to visualize their crush or their celebrity crush, and then just think of the detailed words that are happening rather than having to go on OnlyFans and shit. So yeah, I just thought that was really interesting too. But yeah, no, Smut. That's something. Where are we at right now? Whew. So oh yeah, okay. Let me bring up this topic so that we can get into it real quick. So, did you hear about the Verizon outage that happened last week? That shit came and went for me. So, this apparently happened midday. And I remember because I just left the car shop because these incompetent niggas, they didn't reset my my TPSM on my tires. So I was looking for a bite to eat after I got that fixed up. And I went to Pizza Press. You remember we went there? It's a little pricey, but I was really craving pizza and it was right there. So I downloaded the app. I was sitting outside before I went in. I downloaded the app, and when I was trying to look at the menu, my phone was slow as shit. And then this shit instantly went to no bars and tried to reach out to Apple Satellite. And I was like, nah, I'm good. And I turned off my phone immediately. The service was still trash when I turned it back on, but it like my bars went back. But at least I could go back to the app and figure out what I wanted. And then I ended up in there. I'm eating a junior pepperoni pizza and some chicken tenders, and I washed it down with an Angry Orchard. The outage was just another day for me because it's like I've been having issues with my Google Maps where like it will get stuck. I was on the highway once, and this shit was trying to send me to back roads, and I'm like, I'm not even anywhere near here. And then I ended up in OBT. The shit was scary. I was like right near Pine Hills. I was like, ooh, I gotta reset this phone. So like I'm used to turning off my phone, and that's literally what they said with this outage the next day. They're like, you're still experiencing issues. Turn your phone off and turn it back on. And it's like, why wouldn't that be the first thing you would do? Like people went like hours, like up to like 10 hours without service. And it's like, think you turn your phone off and turn it back on? Like, but I mean, it worked for me. So I'm assuming that people were just like, oh, like why can't I get on? What's going on? But yeah, I didn't even realize how bad it was until I saw later on that night, like everyone talking about it online up until the next day. And then Verizon, they tried to issue like a whole statement, like, oh, like, we're so sorry. Like, like you expect more of us and we're going to do better, blah, 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 blah. And then they came out to issue a $20 credit to everyone affected. And it's like, I get it because it's like, think of how many people are using Verizon. You know what I mean? So it's like they can't really just like cover your whole bill. They're like, they're not in the business of doing that. They'd be out of business. They'd be AT&T before, they came back. Those motherfuckers went out of business for a little bit. So it's like, I get the $20 credit, but the reason for this, and they're still trying to figure out all the details, but they're trying to say it was just a software issue. Like it was a software update. And it's like, why does that keep happening to so many tech companies where it's like you doing an update and all your shit goes down? Like you weren't prepared for this. And then even when you do like a certain update, it's supposed to be on the back end where it shouldn't even reach like the people that are using your service. That'd be like if this right now, what we're using to record, just went down and our shit is erased. And it's like, okay, but you didn't even try and do any test or anything on the back end before it was going to affect your clientele that are using your service. So that threw me for a loop because it's like this, it was really big. Like it affected a lot of people. Like a lot of people had to deal with this. So And I mean, that's why I didn't put my phone on, because I have a 17 Pro Max. That's why I didn't put it on my phone bill. Like I got it through Apple. Because I'm like, I was looking at T-Mobile, but now T-Mobile prices went up and their service is still not the greatest. I mean, they ate Sprint, but it still feels like Sprint. So I was expecting them to be a little faster, and they claim that they're the fastest 5G network, but uh when I see friends on it, yeah, that shit's still down in the dumps. It feels very much like Sprint. So, and then AT&T, I had AT&T before I went to Verizon, and AT&T, they don't offer anything. One, it's like right now I get a lot of perks. I have like Apple Music for free, even though I prefer Spotify. And then I still am grandfathered into my original deal where I have Disney and Hulu for free. So it's like why would I give that up? But at the same time, it's like, they keep having issues, which I think this is a once off, but they keep having issues and it's like, might have to look somewhere else. I mean, you have Spectrum as an option, you have, like I said, T-Mobile, AT&T, or any of the smaller plans too. You can go with Visible. What's that one that Ryan Reynolds has, where he's always making commercials? Yeah, I mean, just being locked and tied into a phone provider, it isn't worth it, bro. Because they, I mean, they don't really care. Like, I mean, the $20 credit, they didn't have to do anything. In all honesty, and the amount of people that are affected, this shit's probably that $20 is probably in the millions or I would assume billions if they're just putting it as a credit. So yeah, I don't know. I want to see more information on it and see exactly like the details on like what software issue like it was, like what caused it as far as like the update, like did it die? Did it boot loop? Like what happened? But yeah, I thought that was crazy. That threw me off. So, but I mean, again, it was like I just turned off my phone, turned it back on. I feel like if more people would have done that, because I feel like most people don't turn off their phones unless one, it dies, and then you got to charge it anyways, or if like they're having like an issue. But even so, it's like this issue kind of just like happened out of nowhere. So it's like I feel like people were more frantic than thinking like logically, like, oh, let me turn my phone off, let me turn it back on. Maybe some did, but I don't know if it worked like mine. Mine came right back. So I only had it down for like I was sitting there for like maybe 5 minutes before I went in and ordered the pizza. So, but yeah, no, I mean, at least I got pizza press out of it. It's a good day. Let's get to the next topic. Bro, I saw my first Waymo sighting in Orlando, and the reason why I bring this up is because it's not here yet. It's only in Miami, in terms of Florida. But we're getting closer to robo-taxis, and I don't know about you, but I'm excited for this shit. Because it's like, have you ever been in an Uber where it just won't shut up as soon as you get in? It's like you could be drunk as shit trying not to puke, or you're going through shit, right? Like your cat died, your girl left you, you on the verge of getting evicted, but you still gotta head to your destination and keep pushing. It's like I can't wait for an empty ass car, playing my Spotify, texting, and not giving a fuck about this motherfucker driving or their motives are. It's like, oh, don't forget to give me 5 stars. It's like, bro, I wasn't even gonna rate you high. Like this ride was ass. So it's like, I noticed it because I was on my way to work, right? All of a sudden I saw so it looked like the Ghostbusters car because it had like this little tinfoil thing on top of it. Look up Ghostbusters car and see what I mean, right? And it was a Jaguar. I was like, that's weird. But the thing that really got me is on the left side. It said Ride Today Plus. And I'm like, what's that? Because like usually like if I see like bumper stickers or like the cars that will usually like be like promoting like ads and whatnot. I'm like, huh, that's interesting. And I'll like look it up later. But I was at a red light, so I'm like, oh, let me look this shit up now. And then I saw that it was Waymo. I was like, oh, because I was not expecting it to be like, I didn't even see it get announced that it was going to start being in Orlando in early 2026. But now that means that Tesla's robo-taxis are around the corner as well, because like they're pretty much in the same areas that Waymo is. So it's only a matter of time before we have both. And then I feel like that will drive the cost down, because it's like, one, let's be real. Ubers, now that robo-taxis are starting to become a thing, and as they become more mainstream in like the next, like, let's say 4 or 5 years, Ubers are basically the new taxis. It's like, do I want to drive? Do I want to be in an Uber where I have to talk to somebody, or do I want to be in a robo-taxi where it's going to be cheaper? You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. And then, have you ever seen that movie on Apple TV with Marshala Ali, Swan Song? It instantly brought me back to that scene. It's a movie where he's got to make a life decision, right? I don't want to spoil it. It came out in like 2021, so if you haven't seen it, go see it. It's a good film. But there's a scene where he's on his way home and he's not driving; he's in a car, but it's a robo taxi. Like, it's very apparent. Like, the scene comes in with like him in the back seat. It's laid out as hell. It's very long car, and there's no one in the driver's seat, and he's getting out because he's going home to see his family. And I remember seeing that movie, and I was just like, man, these futuristic movies, bro. Like, when are we gonna actually have this? And now we're in 2026, and we're right here. Like, that's so nuts, because it's like, I mean, again, it's like the 2000s. We should be having flying cars. We should be like the Jetsons. But just to have like an autonomous car driving around for you, like, isn't that so nuts? Isn't that isn't that crazy? Like, what a time to be alive, bro. It's like, I don't have to worry about driving. I could just let the car drive. It's like, that's nuts to me. So yeah, I thought that was crazy, bro. Yeah. Let me see. Do I have anything else? Let me see what else I can talk about. Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me do our next topic. Okay. So, the only thing I have for entertainment this week is my recap of ASAP Rocky's "Don't Be Dumb." So the thing is like, in the beginning of the album, I'm bumping my head. I'm like, okay, the beat selection, I thought it was pretty good. And then I do like Rocky's flow. I've always liked his flow. You know what I mean? But he hasn't had an album out for 7 years. His last album I wasn't really into. So it's like, okay, you've been out of music for 7+ years. I was just expecting more. So, I mean, in essence, I feel like Drake was right. It's like, we're gonna see this man in the Marc Jacobs catalog for summer 2026, because it's like, I can't imagine this is gonna be a big tour if he tours at all for this album. Like, I just can't imagine it, because I don't even think let me look at the reviews. I don't even think this got anything high. Don't be dumb reviews. I don't even think this got a high rating. And if it did, I don't know who rated it, because I would probably put it at like a 6 out of 10. Let's see. And and that's the thing, is Reddit is really the place to go, because any of these critic reviews, you're not gonna get the real deal. Yeah, they gave it 4.5 stars out of 5, Rolling Stone. I mean, okay, so here's what I'll say, because I'm not gonna shit on it completely. I didn't think it was bad. I just didn't think it was what it should have been for someone who hasn't had an album out since 2018. It's like I would have thought you would have done a little bit more. But what I will say is I do like how he tried to experiment with sounds. Like that song with Doshi. Let me. That song with Doshi, Robbery. I like the jazz presence in that song. Like I wasn't really expecting it, and then I liked her part in it too. So that was pretty good. And then the other song that really stands out to me is Helicopter. I thought the beat was nice. I thought his flow was good. I was like, okay. I was like, well, maybe we in here. And then as the album went on, I was like, oh, okay. He doesn't really have too much to say. Like I mean, he snapped back at Drake, which obviously, I mean, that was a given. But other than that, it's like, what did you really do here? Let's see. Stay Here for Life was probably a fun song that I enjoyed. Like I said, Robbery, and then Fish and State with Tyler the Creator. I like that too. But yeah, I just thought it was like, all right, well, what now? You've been showing that like you're about to put out some songs again, put out an album again for the last few years, and then this is what we got. So yeah, I thought it was mid. I thought Drake kind of summed it up best. It's like he lost to Kendrick. All right, we can all agree with that. He lost to Kendrick, but in terms of The Weeknd, ASAP, it's like, yeah, I mean, he was right about ASAP. I'll say that much. But damn, man, I was expecting more. I was expecting more. Again, I do like the fact that he experimented with different sounds. I just wanted some more memorable songs. Like I don't even think that it's like, besides the two songs that I said, like Helicopter, Robbery, I don't see myself going back to this album besides like one more time to get like one final listen and see like, okay, maybe I was too harsh on it. Maybe my first reaction, like, I missed some stuff, like something that like had to grow on me. But right now, after first listen, I'm like, all right. I mean, what else is coming out in 2026? Like it's like, damn, like I was expecting more, and now because of that, I'm like, damn, I can see why Rihanna doesn't want to put out an album. I feel like it would be better than this, but I can see why she doesn't want to put out an album, because it's like, when you wait that long to do it, anticipation magnifies, where it's like everyone's expectations are going to be over the roof. So if you don't deliver and give something that is at least acceptable, if not a classic, then everyone's like, And we got our hopes up with her because it's like, she did the Super Bowl. And usually when people are doing the Super Bowl, they're promoting an album. Or I mean, even look at Usher. That shit came and went. But at least he still put out an album because he was doing the Super Bowl. So, and then Bad Bunny, I mean, he came out with his album last year. So, he has new material for the Super Bowl. So, yeah, I can see why she doesn't want to do it. And then, she's got a first row seat to see this dude put out his album. And yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Like I said, there are aspects that I like, but I didn't think it was deserving of an 8 or a 9 or anything like that. I give it a 6 out of 10 personally. But yeah, that's pretty much all the entertainment I have for this week. And then let me see if I have anything else. Yeah, No, I think this is gonna be it. All right, guys. Until next episode, it's been real. Peace.